With temperatures soaring across the state, Californians are turning on their air conditioners for relief, and that's putting more pressure on the state's power grid. And now there's a flex alert that's asking everyone to conserve energy.
But why don't we have enough power for days like these? That's a question a lot of people are asking tonight. As News 8's Steve Price reports, the governor is asking the same question.
SDG&E says don't blame them for the rotating blackouts that are hitting our region right now. They say it's the state's fault. They're the ones who are ordering your power be turned off. And Governor Gavin Newsom agrees, taking full responsibility.
We failed to predict and plan these shortages, and that's simply unacceptable.
From air conditioners to appliances, Californians are using more electricity right now than our system can supply. So the state's independent system operator, known as CAISO, has ordered utilities, including SDG&E, to cut its power needs by shutting off electricity to customers for about an hour or so at a time on a rotating basis.
They're the ones that run the entire grid for California, and they're the ones that are demanding that we at this point have a flex alert and that we do the rotating outages.
Sure, it's hot and we're using more AC, but solar energy is popular in our county, making customers wonder why this is an issue if we're making our own power.
As soon as the sun starts going down, people need to remember they're still on the grid. They're still using electricity from the grids.
The flex alert runs until 10 p.m. well past sunset, so SDG&E is asking everyone to conserve energy during the peak hours.
The thing that we're asking everyone to do is to kind of walk around their house and just unplug different electrical appliances that they might not be using, or not to do the laundry when they don't have to, and not to use the dishwasher when they don't have to.
But that's easier said than done for students doing distance learning. No electricity means no internet. School districts in session say they are aware of what's going on.
First and foremost, charge your device. Make sure it's charged up for today. If you have some power, make sure you're charging it up. But second, just to let people know that we're going to be flexible throughout all of this.
With our heat wave continuing, the governor is trying to bring more power online and is asking big businesses to free up electricity by switching to backup generators. He's also started an investigation into why this happened in the first place, so that hopefully it won't happen again. Steve Price, News 8.
And that heat is not giving up or going anywhere anytime soon. Chief Meteorologist Carlene Chavis joins us now with a look at what we can expect. Carlene?
A whole lot more with those hot temperatures, Barbara Lee, and we're not looking at any relief as we go into our forecast. Taking a look at what's still in play, we now have that excessive heat warning being extended all the way until Thursday, still for inland regions, so inland valleys all the way to the mountains. Also talking about the desert, daytime highs for the inland valleys between 95 to 106, the desert up to 118, and still going strong with that heat in the mountains between 92 degrees and 102, right below 5,000 feet. It was hot today, a little bit of relief just by a hair. I'm talking a degree or two with those daytime highs, which we'll take a look at coming up. But by tomorrow, we are looking at triple-digit heat, 103 for Ramona, the same for Valley Center, 100 in Julian, as well as staying above average right along the coast, more 80s to go around. We'll go ahead and take a look at your complete forecast coming up. Back to you, Barbara Lee.
Those numbers are almost unbelievable. Here's some important information for you. If you don't have air conditioning and you really need to escape the heat, and a lot of people are in this situation right now, there are some county cool zones that are open right now, and they will stay open through Friday from noon to 5 p.m. every day. The locations include Fallbrook, Borrego Springs, Alpine, Lakeside, Potrero, Santa Isabel, Ramona, Spring Valley, and Valley Center. Your temperature will be taken on your way in, and you will have to wear a mask when you get there and inside.
San Diego stayed under the 100 cases per 100,000 people threshold for another day. That's good news. Governor Gavin Newsom says that means it's very likely the county will be removed from the state's watch list tomorrow. We'll have more on that in just a moment. Here's a look at today's numbers. 282 cases were confirmed out of more than 6,300 tests. That's a positive rate of about 4%. The 14-day rolling average is at 4.2%. The total number of cases in San Diego is now just under 35,000. Nearly 30,000 have recovered. No new deaths keeps that total at 626. As I mentioned, San Diego County could get off the state's watch list tomorrow if all goes well. That's a few days later than the county expected and is because of some delays in gathering data. News 8's Brandon Lewis explains why this is happening, what could change, and when businesses may start to reopen.
Yeah, Carlo and Barbara Lee, the waiting game is still going to continue. This has been going on now for about 10 days when CDPH first started experiencing a backlog of data, and it is continuing to this point so that no county, including San Diego, even if they reach the benchmark, they still can't get off the watch list.
San Diego's case rate continues its downward trend, but despite thinking it qualified to get off the state's watch list last week, the state delayed it until this week.
The state has been reconciling their backlog and placing those in, and so we do expect probably tomorrow we will officially come off the state monitoring list.
The issue started on August 7th when state officials stopped adding or removing counties from the watch list because of a backlog of 250,000 results. It was resolved last week, but the county says the state didn't restart the clock for counties until Saturday. That means we now can't get off until Tuesday.
We were at 94.7 Sunday, 91.9, and today, Monday, August 17th, we are at 89.9.
This also delays when schools may reopen. We need to stay off the watch list for 14 days. That means the earliest K through 12 can resume is August 31st if districts give the okay and our case rate remains low. Elementary schools can still apply for a waiver to reopen earlier.
It's good news for K through 12 schools, but it doesn't apply to anybody else.
Supervisor Cox expects the state may issue guidance on reopening some businesses later this week, but that doesn't mean it will begin then and apply to all. The state is expected to take a slow, methodical approach to avoid seesawing. Restaurants and bars could be among the last industries to reopen indoors because even with outdoor-only service, they are still the highest source of community outbreaks in the county.
Based again on the data, the science, the advice of public health officials, when we get to that point, sure, we could almost certainly find some that we feel comfortable that we could reopen. But I don't think it would make sense to just immediately snap back to where we were.
The mayor and supervisors say they are hopeful the state will start to provide some industry guidance in the next few weeks, but it's going to take a little bit of time. Carlo and Barbara Lee.
Tonight, a mostly virtual Democratic National Convention kicks off from Milwaukee.
While some speakers will be on site, Joe Biden and California Senator Kamala Harris are expected to formally accept the party's nomination from Delaware later this week. Natalie Brand has a preview of what to expect tonight.
We know that this moment belongs to the people.
It will be a convention unlike any other as Democrats kick off their national convention this year virtually amid the coronavirus crisis.
I know Joe.
Tonight's theme is We the People, with Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders and former First Lady Michelle Obama headlining.
He knows what it takes to rescue an economy, beat back a pandemic, and lead our country. And he listens.
The presumptive Democratic presidential nominee Joe Biden is expected to make surprise appearances throughout the week and accept the party's nomination from Wilmington, Delaware. Republican John Kasich, the former governor of Ohio who ran for president in 2016, is one of 4 Republicans speaking tonight.
President Trump is launching counter-programming throughout the week and is on a campaign swing himself.
The president rallied supporters in Minnesota and Wisconsin Monday ahead of his visits to Arizona and Pennsylvania this week.
The voters of Wisconsin are very, very spectacular people. We are going to take care of you at every level. We are going to fight for you.
The latest CBS News Battleground Tracker poll finds Biden with a 10-point national lead over President Trump, 52 to 42%. And 66% of Democrats say they're glad Biden chose California Senator Kamala Harris as his running mate. In Washington, Natalie Brand for News 8.